Ever been a part of a blended family? Well, all of us have. Some way, somehow, each one of us have been affected or involved in a blended family. Over 100 million Americans are part of a blended family. Now, maybe you have been a part or are a part of a blended family. Check out how we've had to deal with being a part of a blended family. So, right now, tune in for part two of blended families. Now, we're talking to Donaire about some things that he's experienced. What exactly did you experience as a being a part of a blended family?
Well, my experience comes twofold. One, I was a child uh, in the blended family. My parents split up. My dad remarried, and so I had to get it from that perspective. And then, even now, as the father, I experienced it from that side. But not really dealing with with me as a child, but just um, as the father.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way I came into it, my wife, she had a kid, and I was there from day one, and so that transition wasn't as hard. Actually, wasn't hard at all because I was there, and I was the dad figure. Not to take away our daughter's dad. He's in the picture, and he's been there, over the years throughout the time. But just that whole experience, it made it a little easier to work around those rough edges of trying to fit that circle inside that square.
Yeah. That's something because Wade, I think, has a different kind of deal with how old were your kids coming in, your stepkids coming in?
when I met my wife, her children was age 14 and 18, and the fact that my profession, I deal with children.
Yeah,
right. I'm a counselor, so I deal with children. So I thought it would be just easy. It's my job. I get into kids' hearts.
This is what I do.
This is what I do.
He said he thought.
I just thought, hey, it'll be easy, no problem. But it wasn't as easy. It took a lot of time. Actually, me and my wife have been married 10 years, and we have had our challenges, but we have stayed the race.
Yeah.
I mean, more than anything, I would suggest to anybody that's in a blended family, definitely communicate. I mean, I don't care how tough it is. You got to discuss. You got to discuss that other thing as a man.
Yeah. Well, with me, I come in to a 6-week-old and a 2-year-old. As a matter of fact, the 6-week-old is how my wife and I actually met. I was working at the hospital. He got sick, so she had to bring him to the hospital. So, there you go. But with Dion, like you were talking about being a child, a product of a blended family as a child. I was that too. My stepfather was kind of like I was, but my mom was pregnant with me when they met, and so he just picked up right there from birth and was there for me. So, but with you, you had a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I was 12 years old.
And one of the rebellious 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Needing that discipline, but to actually have to accept it from another man that wasn't my father. Yeah. That was kind of rough. I remember, man, he came home one day, me and my partner's wedding house watching Beach Street. Beach Street back then was, so we all gathered around, man. We probably about 10, 12 deep in the living room. We had a big float. Matter of fact, when he moved in, he brought a big old float out. But man, we in there chilling, watching Beach Street. He come in, tired, I guess it was angry from work. Man, he put everybody out. And that's the first time, man, that I actually felt animosity
Mm.
towards this man. Because with my mother, it was cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, she let that, we 12 deep in the living room, you know,
Yeah.
popcorn and everything.
Right.
He come in and snap, man. That was a terrible experience, man. Even though it sound, you know, so petty, but it carried a long
As
way,
a-
man, in my heart, man. Because I felt like it was fine with my mother, but this guy
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
that she decides to be with, he comes in and, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
not to mention how embarrassing it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My friends laughing.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But let me ask this though, like when it comes to, because we started to touch on discipline, how do you discipline, you know, your stepchild? Are you harder on the stepchild? Are you softer? You know, you don't want to go too far. How do you, like with me, you know, it was everybody got it.
Right.
You know, you
Right.
mind, you not mind, you get out of line, it's on.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I mean, it's like when you're dealing with 14-year-old, you know, you're dealing with teenagers, they don't want you to, you know, tell them they can't watch TV or you know, I was one of the ones, you know, I pulled that bell off, you know, but, you know, now, you know, you got your phones, your computer, you know, but how did you do that? Like, first, we'll go to you first.
Well, with me, to be honest, you know, the way after we kind of had our talk, you know, me and my wife, the children, all of them, we basically, you know, in the beginning, just let the parent deal with the discipline part. You know, of course, me being the man of the house, you know, of course, I would sit them down. I would talk to my son. I would talk to my daughter. But the real intense discipline part, I would let mom,
Okay.
you know, handle it because they was more receptive, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And of course, like I said, with teenagers, it's easy to say, "Mom, you gonna let him just come in
Right,
here
right.
and do this?" You know, those feelings. You know, you just kind of the vibe.
Cause kids, they know how to work mom too.
Oh, definitely.
And mom
Definitely.
mom love you, but she'll be like, "You leave my baby alone."
Oh yeah, and a lot of that goes on in households. Kids know how to play mom because they can get emotional. Moms can get emotional, especially when they see the child crying or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So, then I tell any blended family, you know, whatever works for your household,
Right.
Do
if
that.
it works, do it.
And then
You know.
different children are, you know, it requires different discipline. You can't
Yeah.
use the same type
Yeah,
of discipline.
right.
You know,
That's
one
right.
child may love the stepfather.
Let me
Yeah,
throw
one
this
child,
question
you
out
know.
here. What about when you got all the kids together in one house? You know, and you being the step parent and the biological kids, if they do something and you, say for instance, whoop them, but the step kids do the same thing and you don't, or mom don't. I mean, how do you know?
I can't answer that one because like I said, everybody got it.
Right.
You got it out of line. You got it.
Like to me, that's valid and
Because they
and
got
a real conflict. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a real conflict. And of course, I wasn't in that situation per se, but I would think like the best approach, but of course, my opinion, you know, would be just to be fair across the board.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If the rules state you got to be here by this
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and this is the said consequence, that's the said consequence.
Right.
So for me, it's one thing to say, let's be fair across the board when you're dealing with a blended family. But I think one of the most important things for me is that my wife and I, we teamed up. Look, you don't break this alliance.
Right.
We're in this together,
Right.
and whatever decision is made, we made it together, and then
right.
we're gonna stick to it. You can't
That's
be
right.
divided because they're gonna conquer
Right.
you if they divide you.
Right.
They got you. So that's kind of how we
Right.
how we
I was gonna
did.
say, yeah, and even in this, I mean, whether you're a traditional, whether you have a traditional marriage or you have the blended family, I mean, that's a good point.
Right.
That husband and wife team, they have to be tight.
Has to be on one accord.
And you can't, and you shouldn't. No, one shouldn't undermine the other.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna go talk to dad.
Right.
I'm gonna go talk to
Because
mom.
kids will
They
like
right.
that.
Yeah,
That's a blended family for you. But we're out of time, so don't forget, like, subscribe, Men with Vision. Go back and look at part 1 so you can fully understand the topic that we've discussed here today. Comment, share, all of that. We'll see you next time. Men with Vision.